Hello and welcome to Success Formulas.
The power of silence. 12 moments you need to be silent. Speaking less has a lot more benefit than you might think. If you are not aware of the power of silence and you are unsure when to speak and when to stay silent, check out these 12 moments you should stay silent. Number 1. When you are really angry. When you are angry, your emotions get the best of you. You are not capable of thinking straight. There is a real danger that you will say something you will really regret when you calm down. So, the best thing to do when you're in a steaming rage is to take a step back and stay silent. That way, you will allow yourself to process all the information. You will be able to see things more clearly when you are calmer. Then, all the decisions you make and all the things you say will be better and more productive. Number 2. When someone else is really angry. The decision to stay silent is not only smart when you are angry, but is a good move when someone else is angry as well. People can't hear what you want to communicate to them when they are in the heat of anger. They hear only those things that add fuel to their feelings. If you don't want to start the argument or get in the middle of one, stay silent. Wait for the person to cool down. Then tell them everything they need to hear. The conversation will be less futile that way. Number 3. When someone taunts you. Many people will engage in a verbal attack just to taunt and irritate you, out of hatred or jealousy. When someone only wants to hurt you, responding with words will only add credibility to their words. These kinds of people don't deserve a response. By staying silent, you will show that you are above these types of behavior. Also, you will give them no material to continue to taunt you, and they will have to stop. Number 4. When someone needs to be heard. There are many occasions when someone approaches you out of the need to be heard. They don't want advice and they don't want your running commentary. They simply want to speak from their soul. This is perhaps the most important occasion that you should be silent and see the power of silence. Sometimes, words cannot fix problems. Silence can offer much-needed empathy and support. It's a great help to just listen and show that you care. Number 5. When you don't have all the facts. If you suspect or know that you don't know everything important on the topic of the conversation, you should stay silent and listen. If it is some topic that is not your area of expertise, it is better to stay silent than to appear ignorant. This may also be the case when you're talking to your friends. For instance, your friend might share with you that her boyfriend cheated on her, but she didn't tell you that she cheated on him too. If you only heard one side of the story, it would be wiser to just listen, stay quiet, and not give any advice. Number 6. When other people are gossiping. Everyone gossips here and there, but it is often wiser to restrain from participating in gossip, especially if you are at work or around people you don't know that well. It may seem entertaining, fun, and even harmless, but don't fall into that trap. The next time someone talks about someone you know, stay silent and let them talk. That way you'll learn a lot about those who are gossiping. If they ask for your opinion, you can give some vague response or tell them you don't know that person very well. It may feel a little awkward, but you will surely feel much better later on. Number 7. When someone has just criticized you. When someone criticizes us, our first and natural response is to get defensive and maybe a little louder than we usually are. But the wise thing to do is to stay silent. Critics provoke negative emotions. It is better to stay quiet, stop and think about the criticism, but also about the person criticizing you. If the criticism is based on real evidence, and the person told you that in a calm, non-accusatory way, then think about your behavior and about what you will say in response. But if the criticism was malicious and said with spite, the best thing to do is remain silent and move on. Number 8. When someone has made an obvious mistake. When someone messes up and makes an obvious mistake, it is better to keep your thoughts on the situation to yourself. In the moments right after these kinds of things happen, we can often make hurtful and unnecessary comments that will make things even worse. You don't have to remind them. The mistake itself was evident enough. Stay silent. Avoid seeming pretentious and mean. Number 9. When you have a sense you will hurt someone. If you want to say something that you suspect might hurt somebody's feelings, you better stay silent. Think about the necessity of those words. Does that person really need to hear that? Do you really need to say it? If the answer is yes, then choose your words carefully. In most cases, the answer will be no. That is why you need to stay silent. Give yourself time to make that calculation of what you should say and what the consequences are. Number 10. When you want to avoid a petty argument. Silence is really golden when you don't want to engage in a petty argument. If your friends are trying to drag you into some argument you don't care for, just tell them you are not interested and stay silent. Otherwise, you will only end up exhausted. You should learn to recognize these pointless arguments and stay stubbornly silent. It will save you a lot of time and energy. Number 11. When you are in the middle of a negotiation. Silence conveys a sense of power because it might make the other side believe that you are willing to walk away if you get less than the desired outcome. Say what you have to say and then close your mouth. Let the other people draw their own conclusions. Your silence will show you are confident in what you have said. In addition, being silent shows you respect the other person enough to hear what they have to say. Number 12. When there is an opportunity to learn. There are many things each and every one of us doesn't know. There are also many opportunities to learn something new. Recognize them. Speak less and listen more. You cannot afford to remain ignorant. If you want to get facts, you need to stay silent. Imagine you're new to a job or you've just joined a new team for a project. It makes sense to listen to others, especially in the beginning if you want to learn everything you need to know. Have you been in a situation where you wish you had stayed silent? Let us know in the comments section. We love reading your comments. Before you leave, our team will be very happy if you can give this video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video.